Hello everyone. So with the limited entry hunting draw synopsis and application period having opened last Thursday in British Columbia, I wanted to jump on here and make a quick video that may be able to help one or two people better understand the system and how it currently works. I've been hunting in British Columbia for the past 4 seasons now, and I remember when I went on to apply for my first LEH, there was a couple things that did confuse me and a couple questions I did have. So I'm going to try to answer a couple of those today, and please note I am filming this video in 2023. Regulations do change every year, so do not take my word for law. Make sure you always read the regulations and LEH synopsis prior to applying and getting out in the field. Okay, so first off, what is LEH? LEH stands for Limited Entry Hunting here in British Columbia. So when there is more demand for tags than animals available on the landscape for harvest, a province or state will implement a system that manages the amount of tags released to the public while attempting to keep it fair to everyone. So in British Columbia, it's operated on a draw system. There's no bonus points, there's no preference points. Everybody throws their name in a hat and has the same chance as the next guy on drawing that tag. I personally think that is a fair system, and I do enjoy the system here in British Columbia. Some people don't, to each their own. It should be noted that BC is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of all the states and provinces for over-the-counter hunting opportunities. There's something like 15 different large game animals that you can go out, buy a tag, and go hunt for them. So that includes sheep, which is amazing. For each of these animals, there are certain areas in the province that can be closed to general open season hunting, but have an LEH draw for that Wildlife Management Unit, or WMU, that will allow you, if successful, to be able to hunt that certain area. On top of that, some of these areas may be open to general open season hunting, but may have an antler restriction, sex restriction, or timeline restriction in place for the general open season, that if you draw the authorization with limited entry hunting, allows you to bypass some of these restrictions. So a couple examples of that are here in Kamloops. There's an open season, general open season for moose from November 1st to November 15th, but there is an antler restriction where it can only be a moose with that we call a spike fork. So it can either have 1 point or 2 points. Can't be palmated, and yeah, it has to be spike or 2 points. And if you go and draw the limited entry hunt authorization for moose around Kamloops, you can hunt in October, which you can't even for spike fork, and you can hunt for any bull. So it doesn't have to be 1 or 2, it can be any configuration. As long as it's a bull, it can be legal. Another example here in Kamloops in Region 3, you can only hunt mule deer bucks. There's different restrictions throughout the general open season, 4 points any buck, but you can go and apply for a doe tag through limited entry hunting and draw a doe tag for the month of November and legally take a doe. Okay, let's talk about how LEH works. So every year in the spring, between the months of April and June, it's a little bit frustrating here in BC because the government actually doesn't tell you what the date is, like a lot of other states and provinces. It just comes out randomly one day between April and June. The government will release the LEH Synopsis, which gives you the data for the draws that are available for the upcoming fall's hunting season. So on this synopsis, it is laid out by species of animal and the draw success percentage that it took to draw the same LEH authorization last fall. So you will go in, you'll fill out your first and second choice for the draw online. It cannot be done in paper, and you pay the fee, which is something like $7 per species for application. You don't get that back. If you are unsuccessful, it's $7. I'd pay it if it was double, 14 bucks. So then around a month after the deadline, so the deadline for this year, I think, is June 8th. You'll go on you'll check your Wild BC hunting page, run down to view authorizations, and under limited entry hunting, check if you were successful in the draw or not. They also do not give you a date for the draw. Also a little bit frustrating. I just keep an eye on Facebook, and if you're on any of the big hunting Facebook pages in BC, you will know right away once it's out, because there'll be a lot of people either happy or a lot of people complaining. Okay, let's talk about first choice versus second choice applications. So on the application, when you go in, and I'll do a screen share right after this little lecture here, on the application, you'll see that there's an option to select both your first choice and your second choice for the draw. How it works in the BC system is that the computer assigns everyone a random number. If there are 10 tags available for the species in the unit you're applying for, the 10 people with the lowest number will get the authorizations. Now, since there are normally more people who wish to hunt than tags allowed, the people who had number 11 and higher get an unsuccessful draw result. Since the system runs through everyone's first choice application before the second choice only really matters when there are not enough people to fill all the tags. So if there was 5 people who applied for the 10 tags, the random computer generator on the second pass would give the 5 remaining tags to the first 5 people who put in on the second choice. So there's definitely places in the draw that you can win a tag with your second choice, but you need to reference the LEH Synopsis for draws that had a choice odd below 1 to 1. So if there is a draw that took like 0.5 to 1 to draw last year, chances are you could win this with your second choice application, but it's never guaranteed. It should also be noted that when you are successful for an application, you will have reduced odds for most species except for mule deer. I'm not sure why, but except for mule deer, for the next application period. So if you draw a goat tag in region 4 this year, next year you would have a 50% less chance at drawing a goat tag anywhere in the province again. And then the year after, it would reset. When it comes to moose, anywhere in the province, Vancouver, Island, elk, you'll have reduced odds by 66% for the next 3 years. So it is a little bit of a big hit there. And but I always think like your odds are only reduced, they're never zero, so I still apply. Now we're going to jump into the synopsis, and I'll show you how I read the synopsis and how I apply online. Okay, let's jump into the limited entry hunting synopsis. Reminder, this is for the 2023-2024 season, so this is spring of 2023. Also, before we get started, I just want to put a caveat out there that I'm not trying to blow up anybody's spot. These are both spots that I'm going to show you that I have never actually hunted before, and I don't actually plan on hunting or applying. So for some reason, if this is one of your spots, I apologize. But again, I'm not saying that anybody should apply to these spots. I really know nothing about either of these spots. I just want to use them as examples for how to read and apply to LEH. So let's get started here. This is the synopsis. Scrolling down kind of gives you some information telling you not to apply on the last day because it usually crashes. Lots of times they do extend it, but sometimes they don't. So don't apply on the last day. You just better be safe than sorry. Okay, so a lot of good information here. Kind of lays out how to use the synopsis, lays out the group hunts, the individual hunts, a lot of links for finding some information that one might need, shared hunts, second choices, enhanced odds, what are your chances. So a lot of good reading here, and I would encourage everybody to go through and read all the information here. So let's go down. Okay, so here's where the LEH synopsis actually starts data-wise. So first here, it tells you your species. We have limited entry bison, shared hunts. So what this means is that you can apply as an individual, you can apply as a group, and you can apply as a shared hunt. I'm not too up to date on the group applications. I believe a group application is when you and your buddy put in, and you only get the authorizations if you both pull the tag as individuals. Now with bison and moose, you can do a shared hunt where you can put in with up to 4 different people, and as long as one person from your group of 4 is drawn, then you either get 2 tags between the 4 people, or if it's 2 people that put in together, you can get 1 tag between the 2 of you. And if it's 3 people, you can still get up to 2 tags. If you get drawn on the last available tag, even with 4 people, you only get 1 tag. So let's just look at these bison shared hunts. So this right here is giving you your code number. So this is the number that you use to plug it in online. This is the kind of closest area to where this WMU, which is 742, is located. When it comes to LEHs, they kind of break down in the WMUs per zone. So you can see that this is both WMU 742, but they've broken it into 2 different zones. So if you draw a tag for zone C of 742, you cannot go and hunt zone D. But if you draw a tag for zone D, you cannot go and hunt zone C. Season dates, so depending on which code you put in, that's the date which you'll be drawn for. So October 1st, October 15th, you got November, you even got some real late hunts here. And this tells you what the class of animal is. So either sex, so you can shoot any bison. Moving along, this is the tentative number of authorizations. So it's not set in stone, but they do normally keep to these. So they are going to give out 30 authorizations for this code. So you put in with your group, 30 authorizations should be given out between all the different groups and individuals. And moving to your first choice odds. So they never know what your odds are actually going to be for 2023 because they don't know how many people are actually going to put in to each of these different codes. But what they can tell you is how many people put in last year. So last year for code 0001, Lyard 742C, October 1st, October 15th, the end result was that the odds on being able to draw this tag were 53.6 to 1. Now, that is really if you're putting in as an individual. If you put in as a shared hunt, you can actually increase your chances by 4 times. So you put in with 4 different guys, only one person has to draw, or has to draw, and then the whole group gets the application. So I'm sure it doesn't work out exactly like this, but I always take these odds, and this year I didn't put in for this code. I'm not going to tell you which code I did put in for, but I didn't put in for this code. I actually go 53.6 divided by 4, and that would tell me that I have a 13.4 to 1 choice if I put in with 4 people. Again, you never know how many people are going to put in for this specific draw. So it's really just a guessing game. Normally they stay pretty close year to year, but it can fluctuate quite a bit. So that's kind of how each of these codes work. And you can run through and do that for all the different species. Only moose and bison have the shared hunts, and then all of these other animals, caribou, elk, are all individual. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to cross-reference the LEH Synopsis with the regulation booklet and see where you're applying and the differences between the general open season and the LEH. So if we go to limited entry moose shared hunts, and just again, I actually don't hunt these units that I'm going to show, so I'm going to pick one I don't hunt, but you're just scrolling through and you want to find something that's going to give you a half decent chance of pulling a tag. Like when you look at unit 330, 69.3 to 1, unless you never won an LEH. I mean, I wouldn't apply here. I mean, stars could align and you could get one of these 4 tags, but I normally just keep moving past these. So let's pick 346. So you see October 1st, October 31st, you can get a bull tag. They give out 25 authorizations, and last year there was a 2.6 to 1 odds, which is basically 50%. That's really great. So you kind of want to find out where that is. So you can actually jump over. This is the BC Hunting Regulations book. And I just did a quick search for 346, and you can pull open this map and you can see where unit 346 is. So that tag is for this area right here. And just an FYI, I know about region 346 or WMU 346. It's not an ideal tag. That's why it's super easy to get a moose tag here, and I wouldn't recommend putting in here. But you can see here, this is where 346 is located. So if you drew that tag, you could hunt any bull in this whole area. 346 has a very tough access. Okay, so this is the first page for region 3, and it shows it right on the front page here. So we want to scroll down and let's see what we can get with 346 if we didn't even draw the LEH. So you go down to moose, you got 346, and you can hunt for spike fork bulls from September 20th to October 31st. So that is pretty good. If you are able to draw an any bull tag in that area, you can kill any bull moose. You do not have to abide by this spike fork bulls regulation. You can kill any bull as long as you have an authorization to do so from a successful LEH draw. Okay, so we can do that one more time. Let's go down through the regulations and say we want to hunt a doe mule deer. So let's keep going. Let's find mule black-tailed deer, and we want to find it for the same unit, where does it start here? Right here. So I want to find it for the same unit. Probably going to have pretty good odds once again. Kamloops 346, antlerless 3.6 to 1, November 1st to November 30th. You head back to the regulations, take a look at mule deer 346, 4-point bucks September 20th to September 30th. From October 1st, you can kill bucks only, and from November 1st to December 10th, you can kill 4-point bucks. So what this LEH is for antlerless. So nowhere in the regular general open seasons can you kill an antlerless mule deer, but if you apply and are successful under this LEH code, you can kill a doe mule deer. In 346, which we already looked, is this unit right here from November 1st to November 30th. So gives you a lot more options when you're out in the field. Once again, I do not recommend this unit, but it does give you a lot more options if you were successful and you did have a desire to go and hunt this unit. So that's kind of how you read these LEH, and you can see what you can get on top of just the regular general open seasons. Okay, so next I'll show you how to submit it online. So we go back down, we find our 346 Kamloops bull moose tag here, and we have code 4049. You shoot over to BC Hunting and you sign into your wild, and then you're going to hit submit your LEH application. It's going to take you to your wild Fish and Wildlife profile login. You're going to scroll down to limited entry hunting and apply for LEH. So you go here, you're going to shoot back to your LEH right here, your LEH synopsis. This is the code we wanted, 4049, to apply for 346 any bull. Go back and you Go back, and then you would type in 4049 as your first choice hunt. You can see here, you type in individual 4049, and it pulls it up 346 bull moose. Then you can add your second choice, which basically second choice is you have to pick under a 1.1 odds to even have a chance. But you could put a second choice for any code in here and pray, but I never hear too often about second choice hunts being awarded. And you'd add to shopping cart and then go and check out. And that is how you submit your LEH authorization. So now you know how to read the synopsis, now you know how to apply. Just wanted to talk a little bit of strategy to kind of end this off. So some of the strategy that I use when applying is I lay out my entire year for general open season. So these are the hunts that are available over the counter. You just buy a tag and you go out by yourself, go out with your buddies and hunt the animals that you want to hunt. So this year, open my calendar, me and a buddy are going elk hunting for 10 days the last week of August, and me and another buddy are going to Texada Island for the rut to hunt Columbian blacktails. So now putting those on the table, I know that I've already used 2 weeks of vacation and I'm not available August, and I'm pretty much not available November for any further hunting trips or activities. Those are my non-negotiable hunts. Those are locked in. I'm not going to bail on them. So I'm going to apply to LEH knowing that info. So I've now used my 2 weeks vacation. So if I did draw a Roosevelt elk tag on Vancouver Island, I'd have to really piss off work or the wife or both to take another week off to go and chase rosies on Vancouver Island. Also, if I was to draw for rosies on Vancouver Island, maybe I've already harvested my elk up north in August, and now I've drawn a rosy tag and I've already used my tag, right? Or now I'm not able to go to Vancouver Island and it's a once in a lifetime hunt, I would see reduced odds for the next 3 years on my elk applications for Region 1 elk. It's just not going to work. So I'm not going to apply for Roosevelt elk on Vancouver Island this year. That's part of my strategy. Another part of my strategy that I like to use is I apply for draws that are closer to where I live. So even if the draw percentage is a little bit harder to draw, it can be very beneficial. Last year I was contemplating applying north of Prince George for moose. There was better odds than we had here in Kamloops, and I thought I could probably get 4 or 5 days off to hunt for moose 6 hours north of here. Now, when I thought of the logistics, the cost, driving up north, only getting 5 days to hunt, it just kind of weighed out a little bit better for me to apply for moose here in Kamloops. Fortunately, I was successful. I went out and I killed my bull right here, close to home, slept in my bed every night, made lunches in the morning or the night before, didn't have to drive 6 hours, didn't have to take off any vacation, just hunted on the weekends, and it worked out. Now, it's not always going to work out. You're not always going to draw close to home, and maybe the odds are better up north if you can get the time off, if you can work it into your hunting schedule and your life schedule, because you need to also keep your family happy and keep work happy, then maybe it is worth applying up north. But for lots of people, you already have a hunt or two planned, general open season. Sometimes it just makes a little more sense to apply closer to home, honestly. Deciding where to hunt is probably the biggest obstacle when it comes to LEH. But I recommend just getting to know people, going to like Wild Sheep Foundation banquets, meeting people, volunteering with the BC Wildlife Federation, and just kind of expanding your knowledge in the hunting community. And this is kind of my strategy and what I've been doing, And I'm not just doing it to find hunting spots, so I hope it's not coming off like that. Like I am, you know, enjoying going up and helping with cameras for the BC Wildlife Federation, and, you know, going out and trying to find lambs for the Wild Sheep Society of BC. But at the same time, doing both of those things, doing that volunteer work, I've ran in and met a really great group of people, and you get talking, you share some fishing spots, you share some of your hunting knowledge, and they do it back. And yeah, it's just a great way to kind of expand your knowledge. The other way to kind of figure out where you want to go hunting is just to get out there. So maybe you don't know where you want to apply for moose around Kamloops this year, or around Merritt, or around 100 Mile, around Prince George, but you know that there's an open mule deer season in those areas. Go up, go mule deer hunting. Don't apply for moose this year maybe, or apply for moose in an area that's close to home or somewhere that you've seen moose before. Go up, hunt around Prince George for mule deer, and just take notes. Oh look, there's lots of moose sign here. Oh look, I saw 3 moose in this cut block. Get home, check out Synopsis. Oh crap, there's only a 5 to 1 chance of drawing moose. That's pretty good. So now you kind of have built a spot that you can go and apply and use your use your draw for moose in that specific location. Next year you don't draw, you go mule deer hunting. That was in 100 Mile. You go mule deer hunting up near Fort St. John, see a bunch of moose. Oh, now you've got 2 different moose spots, and depending on the draw percentages, you can say, wow, this year I can get the time off work to go up north and drive that extra 7 hours on top of Prince George and hunt moose. And you apply there, maybe you get a bull tag, maybe you kill a moose. That's kind of the strategy I've been implementing, and it seems to be working out so far. For my moose unit that I applied for and won this year, I just met a couple really great guys, and we got talking moose, and they told me 10 years ago they killed 2 moose up by so-and-so lake. I went up there during spring bear, saw moose sign everywhere, went back, looked at the draw odds. Draw odds were like pretty good for being around Kamloops, drew my tag, killed my moose. Another part of my strategy is I really only apply to hunts that are 6 to 1-ish and lower. So don't get me wrong, my sheep application this year is a lot higher than that. It's like 10 times that. But my elk and goat individual applications this year are lower than 6 to 1. My elk application is actually where I'm going hunting in August. So where I'm going hunting in August is a 3-point or better unit, and there is an antlerless draw. So I put in for the antlerless draw. A lot lower than 6 to 1. But yeah, so my elk and goat individual applications were much lower than 6 to 1. My bison and moose are both lower than 6 to 1, as I put in with 4 people under the shared hunt option. Shared hunt is, say you have 3 other buddies, you all want to go moose hunting, you can all get the time off, or you all want to go bison hunting. It's really only moose and bison. You can all go together. You talk it out, you say, hey, let's apply for these dates. You can put in with up to 4 people, and it actually enhances your draw odds by 4 times. Or if there's 3 of you, 3 times. Or if there's 2 of you, 2 times. How it works is only 1 person from your group has to be drawn. They put all your application in as an individual. If 1 person from your group is drawn and there's a group of 4, 2 people get tags. If it's a group of 3, 2 people get tags, and a group of 1 or a group of 2, then 1 person gets a tag. But anyone in that group can kill the bull, or can kill the bull. So if there's a group of 4, anybody in that group can kill 1 bull each. But as soon as your 2 tags are filled, your group is done. So definitely note that you can really increase your draw odds that way. This year I put in for bison with 3 other guys. I don't know what our draw odds are. We're like 30 to 1 or 25 to 1 or something, and that really brought our draw odds down. I'm going to link a document from the BC government, which also helps explain a lot of what I'm talking about here and how LEH works and how to go about applying. So there's no better way to figure it out than to apply, put a little bit of a strategy together, and go out and get hunting and be successful or be not successful on your harvest, but you will always be successful on gaining new information, learning either a new area, or just instead of mule deer hunting, you're looking for moose. You just learn a lot more about moose. You're paying more attention to moose areas than just the mule deer areas, which you always do. So it's always learning. So yeah, I'm gonna link that document in the description below. Check it out, and I hope this has helped somebody with LEH and how it works. So thanks for watching. We'll see you out there.